Have you ever found yourself in a relationship, or perhaps many of them, pouring your heart, your energy, and even your very identity into helping a man, only to feel utterly depleted, misunderstood, and ultimately unseen? You started with noble intentions, a genuine desire to uplift, to support, to bring out the best in him, believing that your love, your effort, would be the catalyst for his transformation. Yet, the outcome was often a mirror reflecting your own exhaustion, a silence that echoed your deepest fears, or a painful realization that your tireless efforts led only to stagnation, not progress. You might ask yourself, why does my devotion, my unwavering support, lead to this cycle of disappointment? Am I fundamentally flawed in my approach to love, or is there a deeper, unseen truth at play? This pervasive pattern, my dear seeker, is not a testament to your shortcomings, nor is it a sign that you are too much or not enough. Instead, it is often the subtle, yet devastating consequence of 5 fatal mistakes women unconsciously make when they attempt to help a man, particularly when their approach is rooted in an externalized sense of validation, rather than an inner state of unshakable self-sovereignty. These are not mere dating blunders. They are fundamental deviations from the path of your own dharma, profound misalignments with the very essence of yourself. Today we journey into the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, a sacred text that, though ancient, speaks directly to the modern woman's heart, illuminating the path from emotional dependency to absolute self-mastery. The Gita, in its sublime dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, teaches us the vital distinction between action, driven by attachment to results, and action performed in alignment with one's true purpose. It reveals how our deepest intentions, when misdirected, can become chains rather than wings. We will explore how the principles of Raja Yoga, the yoga of the will, and self-mastery provide the framework for understanding these mistakes, teaching us how to quiet the fluctuations of the mind, vrittis, that propel us into these self-sabotaging patterns. We will discover that true help does not lie in fixing another, but in embodying your own wholeness, in activating the unyielding power of your own will, and in living from the absolute center of your unique self. The deepest desire many women silently hold is to achieve a state of emotional sovereignty, where inner peace is not contingent upon anyone's actions, validation, or even presence. You long for an unshakable self-esteem, one that springs from a profound understanding of your own real self, rather than from external accolades or the success of a relationship. You yearn to use your will to master thoughts of scarcity and anxiety, to break free from the patterns of repetition that lead you to choose the same type of relationship, one that ultimately leaves you feeling depleted. Consider this. Is your intense desire to help truly an act of selfless devotion? Or is it a hidden yearning for validation, a secret hope that by fixing him, you might finally secure your own worth or find the love you believe you lack? The Bhagavad Gita unequivocally states that attachment to the fruits of our actions inevitably leads to suffering. When you attach your happiness, your identity, or your sense of purpose to the successful outcome of helping a man, you are setting yourself up for profound disappointment. You are, in essence, handing over the reins of your inner peace to an external entity, relinquishing your inherent sovereignty. This is the first, and perhaps most insidious, of the fatal mistakes, believing that your peace resides in his transformation. It does not. Your peace resides in yourself, in your unwavering commitment to your own dharma, and in the conscious exercise of your will. The modern narrative often glorifies the savior archetype in women, celebrating those who tirelessly uplift, nurture, and transform men. Yet, this narrative rarely cautions against the spiritual toll it takes, the silent erosion of one's own identity. It rarely speaks of the subtle way such help can inadvertently strip the man of his own agency, his own karmic lessons, and his own path to growth. The Raja Yogi understands that the mind, when left undirected, becomes a turbulent sea of projections, desires, and anxieties. When our mind, the non-self, identifies with the perceived needs of another, it can become fixated on control, on manipulation, however subtly, believing that if we just do more, give more, understand more, we can orchestrate a different reality. This is an illusion. The real power, the real help, always begins with the self, with the mastery of your own internal landscape. So, as we embark on this profound exploration, I invite you to open your mind not to new strategies for getting him to change, but to ancient truths about your own limitless potential. This is not about blaming, nor is it about abandoning compassion. It is about discerning the nature of true love from attachment, true support from enabling, and genuine connection from a projection of your own unmet desires. It is about understanding that your true power lies not in controlling the external world, but in mastering the internal kingdom of your own self. The Bhagavad Gita provides the wisdom, and Raja Yoga offers the tools to dismantle the illusions that bind you to patterns of frustration and disappointment, empowering you to reclaim your emotional sovereignty and to live a life aligned with your highest truth. Are you ready to see through the veil of well-intentioned mistakes and step into your unshakable power? Have you ever found yourself in that quiet, aching space, pouring endless energy, wisdom, and emotional support into a man, only to see him remain precisely where he is, or perhaps even regress? The frustration, the gnawing emptiness, the silent question, why isn't my love enough to make him change? This is the insidious pain of the karma of overgiving, where your genuine desire to help inadvertently prevents his own necessary spiritual and personal evolution. You feel exhausted trying to be the perfect woman, interesting, calm, independent. Yet you end up feeling like just an option, your intensity or depth of emotion perceived as too much for him. The cycle of hope and disappointment leaves you drained, without the energy to trust again. From the perspective of Vedic wisdom, particularly the Bhagavad Gita, every individual has their own unique path, their own dharma, and their own set of karmic lessons to unfold. Karma is not merely fate, it is the law of cause and effect, where every action, every choice, creates consequences that must be experienced to bring about purification and growth. When you tirelessly intervene, when you assume the role of his savior, his therapist, his financial advisor, or his emotional caretaker, you are, in essence, attempting to bypass or dilute his own karmic journey. Your help, though seemingly altruistic, can create a spiritual imbalance, a subtle debt, where he is deprived of the very experiences necessary for his own awakening. The Bhagavad Gita advises Arjuna to fulfill his dharma, his sacred duty, without attachment to the results. Your dharma is to cultivate your own self, to align with your own truth, not to orchestrate another's reality. The counterintuitive revelation here is profound. Your deepest love, your most earnest desire to alleviate his suffering might be the very force preventing his necessary discomfort, his essential struggle, which are vital for his evolution. Think of a caterpillar. If you help it out of its cocoon, it dies, because the struggle of breaking free is what strengthens its wings. In relationships, our minds, the non-self, often conflate love with solving problems. We believe that if we love truly, we must fix, must rescue, must pave the way. But true love, from a sovereign perspective, understands the sacredness of another's journey, even when that journey involves struggle or pain. It means trusting that within him resides his own divine spark, his own inherent capacity for growth, and that your role is to be a beacon of your own light, not a force attempting to re-engineer his. This is the battle internally between the sovereign self, which knows its value, and the needy mind, which seeks external validation by being useful. So, what is the practical consequence of this realization, and how do you apply the wisdom of Raja Yoga? The key is the practice of conscious non-action regarding his journey. This doesn't mean becoming cold or uncaring. It means consciously withdrawing your mental and emotional energy from his problems and redirecting it to the cultivation of your own self. When you feel the urge to fix or advise or rescue, pause. Observe that urge. Where does it come from? Is it genuine compassion? Or is it a subtle fear of his inadequacy reflecting on your own sense of worth? Is it truly about him, or is it about you needing to be needed? Here is an exercise of will from Raja Yoga. When you notice yourself consumed by his issues, consciously, deliberately, shift your focus. Visualize a golden light within your own heart, representing your you, self. Then, mentally, gently, but firmly, collect all the tendrils of your energy that have been reaching out to him, to his problems, to his challenges. Draw them back, like drawing a net into yourself, back into that golden light within your heart. Affirm silently, my energy, my focus, my peace are rooted within myself. His journey is his own, and I trust in his inherent capacity to navigate it. This is not abandonment. It is an act of profound respect for his sovereignty and a radical reclaiming of your own. This practice allows you to transform the anxiety of waiting, the frustration of his inaction, into a powerful internal retreat, a profound act of meditation. Your mind will protest. It is accustomed to governing, to seeking control through external manipulation. Acknowledge this protest. Thank your mind for its warning, for its habit, and then gently but firmly reaffirm yourself as the master. This shift is an act of deep faith in the universe, in the divine order, and in his own soul's capacity for growth. You are not meant to be his crutch. You are meant to be a radiant, self-sufficient lighthouse, guiding by example, not by intervention. Remember, you are tending your own sacred garden, ensuring its blossoms are vibrant and abundant. You are not trying to force a barren tree outside your gates to fruit by draining your own water. True cultivation begins within. Have you ever experienced the acute pain of falling deeply in love? Not with the man himself, but with the boundless potential you saw within him. That exhilarating chemistry that feels like a soul connection, only to awaken later to the stark reality that you were captivated by a projection, a carefully constructed ideal in your own mind. This cycle of hope and profound disappointment is the heart of the illusion of the rescued, where your desire to save him stems from an unconscious projection of your own unaddressed wounds and unmet needs onto another. You find yourself trapped in a vicious cycle of hope and disappointment, leaving you drained and unable to trust in genuine connection. You feel like you're losing your own identity, annihilating yourself to fit into someone else's world. From the wisdom of Raja Yoga, the mind, manas, is an incredibly powerful tool, but when it is not mastered by the you, the true self, it becomes a factory of projections and illusions. We often identify with the non-self, our thoughts, emotions, and past experiences, and this identification leads us to perceive reality through a distorted lens. The savior archetype, while seemingly noble, can be a deeply ingrained pattern arising from our own shadow, a hidden part of our psyche that believes its worth is intrinsically linked to its ability to fix, to rescue, to be indispensable. When you encounter a man with perceived issues, your mind, unmastered, latches onto this opportunity to play the rescuer, not realizing it's an internal drama projected onto an external stage. You see his lack not as his own journey, but as a void for your filling. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, qualities of nature that influence our perceptions and actions. When rajas, passion, activity, or tamas, inertia, ignorance, dominate, our perception becomes clouded, making us susceptible to these illusions, mistaking a projection for reality. The profound counterintuitive revelation here is that your intense desire to save or fix him often prevents both his and your own true growth. His lack or perceived brokenness is not an invitation for you to mend him, but an opportunity for his soul to confront its own lessons. By constantly providing solutions, by cushioning his falls, by taking on his burdens, you inadvertently strip him of the vital experience of self-reliance, of finding his own strength, of navigating his own karmic landscape. Moreover, your focus on rescuing him diverts your precious energy from the true work. Rescuing yourself from the patterns of codependency, from the need to be validated through another's perceived improvement. This is where the profound internal battle unfolds, between the you sovereign that inherently knows its worth, and the mind consumed by scarcity, seeking validation by being useful or needed. The true strength lies in allowing the silence, the void, the discomfort to exist, and recognizing that it is not yours to fill, but his to navigate. So, how do we practically apply this wisdom? The practice lies in an analytical meditation, a conscious discernment between the man as he is and the projection your mind creates. When you feel that familiar urge to help, to fix, to save, pause, close your eyes, and in the quiet sanctuary of yourself, ask, am I seeing him as he truly is, or as I wish him to be? Is this feeling of chemistry a genuine connection of souls, or is it the activation of my own savior archetype, seeking validation through another's need? Here's an exercise in cultivating the will from Raja Yoga. Observe your thoughts. When your mind begins to spin narratives about his potential or how you could make him better, gently but firmly intercept those thoughts. Visualize them as clouds passing by in the vast sky of your consciousness. Do not engage with them. Do not chase them. Simply observe without judgment, and then return your focus to your own internal center, your own breath, your own self. Affirm, my peace is not dependent on his transformation. My worth is not tied to his potential. I choose to see him clearly, without the veil of my own projections. This practice strengthens your will, allowing it to govern your mind, rather than being governed by its illusions. It is about learning to read the energy of connections, differentiating between a karmic apego, a deep, often painful attachment rooted in unlearned lessons, and a genuine dharmic partnership that honors both individuals' paths. You are not meant to paint a new reflection on his mirror. Your true power lies in ensuring your own mirror reflects only your radiant, unblemished self. Have you ever found yourself subtly, or sometimes overtly, reshaping your dreams, postponing your aspirations, or even dimming your own light, all in the name of supporting a man's journey, his career, his potential? The quiet erosion of your identity, the painful sensation of becoming invisible in a relationship where you once felt seen, the feeling of losing your vibrant self while trying to orbit around his world. This is the profound spiritual cost of misguided devotion. You may have felt an intense desire to love with complete devotion, to give your all, but somehow, in that giving, you lost your center, forgetting that true bhakti, devotion, enhances the self. It never diminishes it. This often leads to the devastating doubt. Is this connection real? Or am I just fantasizing, sacrificing my true self for an illusion? From a Vedic perspective, particularly as articulated in the Bhagavad Gita, every soul has its unique dharma, its inherent purpose, its righteous path, its sacred duty to itself and to the universe. Your dharma is not contingent upon anyone else's journey or needs. It is your unique blueprint for spiritual evolution and self-realization. When you compromise your dharma, when you annul your own identity, or postpone your own growth to facilitate another's, you are not engaging in true devotion. You are engaging in a form of spiritual self-abandonment. The Gita teaches us that true liberation comes from fulfilling one's own dharma, even if imperfectly, rather than abandoning it for another's. True bhakti, like the devotion of Radha to Krishna, is a profound love that amplifies the self, fostering unwavering identity and inner power, never dissolving it. Radha's love was a testament to her sovereign self, a devotion rooted in complete surrender to the divine within, which then flowed outward, not a desperate need to lose herself in another. The counterintuitive revelation here is this: your highest act of love for him, and indeed for yourself, is your unwavering commitment to your own highest good, your own purpose, your own spiritual journey. You cannot genuinely give what you do not embody. If you sacrifice your dharma, you deplete your inner wellspring, becoming a hollow vessel. And what can a hollow vessel truly offer? Your authentic radiance, your centeredness, your fulfillment in your own path. That is the most magnetic and inspiring force you can bring to any relationship. When you align with your dharma, you become a source of true abundance, not a martyr. This addresses the deep desire to feel whole and complete within yourself, viewing a relationship as a complement, not a necessity for happiness. It reveals the error of trying to control his mind before mastering your own, and the model of transmuting scarcity into attractive power. So, how do we practically apply this understanding and rectify misguided devotion? The practice involves a dharma audit, a conscious inventory of where you have compromised your own path, your own dreams, your own vital energy. Begin by reflecting: where have I yielded my authentic voice? What dreams have I shelved? What passions have I neglected because they didn't align with his perceived needs or trajectory? Here is a simple yet powerful exercise of will from Raja Yoga. For 3 consecutive days, Dedicate a specific block of time, even 15 to 30 minutes, purely to an activity that ignites your soul, an activity that is solely for your growth, your joy, your dharma. This could be writing, meditating, pursuing a hobby, learning something new, or simply spending time in quiet contemplation of your highest aspirations. Separate from any external influence. As you engage in this activity, consciously affirm, I am reclaiming my sacred time, my sacred energy, for the cultivation of my unique dharma. Myself is the center of my universe, and my purpose is to shine in my own light. Observe the resistance your mind might offer, the guilt, the feeling of selfishness. Acknowledge it, thank it, and then gently but firmly redirect your will back to yourself, back to your purpose. This practice strengthens your inner resolve, making your will the master of your actions rather than external pressures or the desires of others. By consciously prioritizing your dharma, you are not abandoning a man. You are elevating yourself. You are becoming the embodiment of sovereignty, a woman who loves deeply but without attachment to the results of that love. A woman whose inner temple remains sacred and inviolable. This is the essence of true power, true attraction, and true partnership. When you stand firm in your own dharma, you attract a relationship that honors your wholeness, rather than one that demands your sacrifice. Remember, your inner temple must remain pristine and consecrated to your highest truth. It is not a construction site for another's unfinished edifice. We have journeyed through 3 of the 5 fatal mistakes women often make when they attempt to help a man. Errors that subtly but profoundly undermine their own emotional sovereignty and lead to cycles of exhaustion and disappointment. The first fatal mistake is the karma of overgiving, where your well-intentioned help inadvertently bypasses his necessary karmic lessons, preventing his growth and draining your own energy. This leads to the painful paradox, where your deepest love becomes an obstacle to his true self-discovery. We learned that true respect for his journey means allowing him to walk his own path, trusting in his inherent capacity for growth, and redirecting your energy to your own self. The second fatal mistake is the illusion of the rescued, where you project your savior archetype onto him, falling in love not with the man as he is, but with a potential born of your own unmet desires and unaddressed wounds. This creates a cycle of hope and disappointment as reality inevitably clashes with your mental construct. We understood that the path to true connection lies in seeing him clearly, without the veil of your own projections, and in recognizing that your worth is not tied to his transformation or his perceived lack. Your power comes from observing your mind's tendencies to idealize or demonize, and allowing your will to discern the truth. And finally, the third fatal mistake is misguided devotion, where you sacrifice your own dharma, your unique purpose and path, under the guise of supporting his. This leads to a silent erosion of your identity, a feeling of invisibility, and the depletion of your inner wellspring. We learned that true bhakti, or devotion, enhances the self, never diminishes it, and that your highest act of love is your unwavering commitment to your own highest good and spiritual evolution. By maintaining your own center, you become a source of abundance and attraction, rather than a martyr. While we delve deeply into these 3, let us briefly acknowledge the 2 other critical fatal mistakes often intertwined with these patterns. The fourth fatal mistake is confusing emotional labor with true connection, believing that by constantly processing, analyzing, and managing his emotions, you are building intimacy. In reality, You are often taking on emotional burdens that are not yours to bear, preventing him from developing his own emotional maturity and creating an unbalanced dynamic where you become his emotional regulator rather than an equal partner. And the fifth fatal mistake is seeking validation through his approval or transformation, making his progress or his love for you the measure of your own worth. This externalizes your peace, making you vulnerable to his moods, his availability, and his choices, rather than rooting your worth in the unshakable truth of your own you. The Bhagavad Gita, through Krishna's profound teachings to Arjuna, constantly emphasizes the importance of performing one's duty, dharma, without attachment to the fruits of action. When you become entangled in the desire to fix a man, you become attached to a specific outcome, his transformation, his happiness, his commitment. This attachment is the root of suffering. Raja Yoga empowers you to detach from these outcomes by mastering your mind and directing your will. It teaches you that your power lies in your internal state, not in your ability to manipulate external circumstances or another person. The journey from emotional dependence to unwavering emotional sovereignty is not a path of quick fixes or superficial tips. It is a profound spiritual quest, a courageous excavation of your deepest self. It requires the relentless discipline of Raja Yoga, the discerning wisdom of the Vedas, and the compassionate understanding that you are already whole, already complete, already the sovereign center of your own universe. Your desire to be the choice, and not an option, is fulfilled not by striving externally, but by becoming so deeply centered in your you that you inherently are the choice, not for him, but for yourself. Consider this transformative question. What if the silence, the distance, or the perceived lack from him is not a rejection, but a profound invitation from the universe, from your own higher self, for you to finally turn inward, to listen to the whisper of your own you, and to activate the boundless power that resides within you, independent of any external relationship. This is the path to true liberation, where love flows from abundance, not scarcity, and relationships become reflections of your inner harmony, not sources of endless struggle. Embrace this journey. Yourself awaits. As we conclude this profound exploration, remember that the path to emotional sovereignty is a continuous unveiling, a daily commitment to your inner self. It is the conscious choice, moment by moment, to disidentify from the non-self, the fleeting thoughts, the tumultuous emotions, the external circumstances, and to anchor yourself in the unshakable stillness of your true you. This is not an easy journey. Your mind, accustomed to its old patterns of attachment and external seeking, will protest. It will tempt you with familiar anxieties, with the lure of what-ifs, and with the illusion that control over another will bring you peace. But your sovereign will, cultivated through the practices of Raja Yoga, is the ultimate master. The deep desire to be the choice in a relationship often stems from a hidden fear of abandonment or a belief that your worth is external. This channel's core message is that you already are the choice, your own choice. You choose your peace, you choose your purpose, you choose your sovereignty. This is the alchemy, transmuting the anxiety of waiting, the pain of unfulfilled expectations, into potent energy for your own self-realization. Every instance where you observe your mind attempting to fix or rescue him is an opportunity, a sacred invitation, to turn that immense energy inward. Instead of pouring it into another's perceived void, direct it to fortify your own inner temple. Your body, your emotions, your mind are instruments. Your you, your true self, is the musician. A skilled musician understands their instruments, tunes them, and uses them to create harmony. They do not allow the instruments to dictate the melody or the composition. Similarly, you are learning to master your own internal instruments, ensuring they resonate with the highest frequency of your own dharma and purpose. This is the essence of self-love, not as a fleeting emotion, but as an unwavering commitment to your own highest truth, a deep reverence for the sacredness of your own journey. The stories of Radha and other devoted figures in Vedic texts teach us profound lessons about love and identity. Their devotion amplified their spiritual power. It didn't diminish their individual essence. They loved from a place of wholeness, not of seeking completion. This is your birthright, to love with such profound wisdom that your relationships become conduits for your spiritual growth, rather than arenas of suffering. The pain you have experienced is not meant to destroy you. It is your you calling you back home, urging you to listen to its silent, sovereign voice. This is the ultimate healing, recognizing that the pain is an experience of the non-self, one that your real you can observe without being shattered. The cure is liberation from identification with the fleeting and the external. You are an embodiment of the divine, complete and whole. May your journey be one of profound remembrance and unwavering power. This path of emotional sovereignty, illuminated by the wisdom of Raja Yoga and the Bhagavad Gita, is a journey of continuous practice and deep introspection. It is not a passive process. It demands your conscious will and your unwavering commitment. If this message resonated with the deepest stirrings of your soul, if you are ready to truly transform your relationship dynamics from a place of inner power rather than external striving, then I invite you to take concrete steps today. First, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Every video is designed as a direct guide for your journey towards emotional sovereignty, offering the profound insights and practical tools we've discussed today, rooted in ancient wisdom. This is not about superficial advice. It's about a foundational shift in your understanding of self and relationships. Second, share this video with a woman in your life who you know is silently struggling with the burdens of helping others, who feels trapped in cycles of disappointment, and who yearns for a deeper, more sovereign approach to love and life. Your sharing can be the catalyst for her own awakening. Third, engage with us in the comments section below. Share your insights, your challenges, or the specific fatal mistake that resonated most deeply with you. Your vulnerability fuels a powerful, conscious community of women committed to true self-mastery. And finally, consider this. What is one small, deliberate act of reclaiming your dharma, one conscious redirection of your will, that you can implement in the next 24 hours? Perhaps it's setting a clear boundary, or dedicating a few minutes to a neglected passion, or simply observing your mind's urge to fix without acting on it. The path of the Raja Yogi is built not on grand gestures, but on consistent, conscious micro-transformations. Your emotional sovereignty is not a destination. It is a way of being. Embrace it, live it, and let your inner radiance be your guide.